Hey there, guys. Adam Bro here with Adam Bro Fitness again. We are going to be talking about a quick series of videos. Try to keep it short. Try to keep each one short. We're talking about how to progress in your fitness routine. Like, how do we make progress? Okay. And in the first one, the first video, we need to understand progressive overload. Okay, so what is progressive overload? Progressive overload is the concept that first we need to break it apart. What is overload? We need to basically get our muscles to work to such a point as they fatigue to a place where either they get slightly sore or maybe slightly fatigued afterwards. Sore is not always a good proxy for knowing if you worked hard enough, because more sore does not equal more growth. But getting a sense of soreness is a good idea to know if you worked hard enough. Okay, so what are we talking about? Let's talk about overload. If we are going to, let's say, work our quads, our legs. Okay, a couple things we have to do. We have to understand that we have to push them in whatever exercise we're doing. Maybe it's a squat, maybe it's a leg press, maybe it is a lunge. We have to push the muscles hard enough that fatigue happens and we send the signal to the body that, hey, you need to grow stronger. Okay. So what that does is it sends a signal. First of all, the exercise itself breaks down muscle tissue slightly. It stretches it, micro tears, things like that. And then the signal that we are sending through that overload is telling the body, hey, we tore some of this down. We need to repair it and we need to get stronger in case they want to do this again to us. Okay? So what happens is after that adaptation happens, basically repair and then slight growth, you are now basically stronger than you were before. So the same amount of overload is not going to elicit the same response. Okay? So overloading is taking the muscle to a place of real fatigue where you either have to stop the movement because you can no longer do a good rep, or you just couldn't complete the movement anymore. So the muscle was weakened to a place where it could not continue. Okay, and we want to do this safely, obviously, and we'll get into that a little bit. So first we have to understand overload. Overload is pushing the muscle to a place where it needs to grow. Progressive overload is saying, hey, I have to continually push to another place. I have to increase that overload over time. Because once I do a workout, let's say for a week, I broke things down, I repaired, I got stronger. Now the same amount of stimulus is not going to elicit the same response. So then I have to go up in some way. I can do that through adding more reps to a particular movement. Like if I did bench press with 100 pounds for 10 reps, well, I need to use 100 pounds again next time and try to do 11 or 12 reps, because those 2 extra reps will be a progressive overload. I slightly went up. Or I need to add more weight. So I went to 105 pounds and did 10 reps. So I did more work to elicit a response again. This is how you get stronger. Okay, so first we have to understand that in order to progress, we have to continually, progressively overload. Okay, we can't just do the same thing. I know people who have been doing the same workout with the same weights, same number of sets for years, and they're wondering why their body's not changing. Because you're sending the exact same signal for years at a time. There is no imperative for the body to get stronger or bigger, right? You're not sending the right signals. So you're wondering why it's not happening, but you're not doing it properly. Okay, so first we have to understand you need to progressively overload. The workouts have to get harder over time because you're going to get stronger. Okay, that's the first thing we have to understand, is that the idea of going into the gym and moving things around, that is not working out. That is not training. That is moving things around. Okay? If the goal is to get stronger, we have to understand what it takes to get stronger and then implement those strategies repeatedly. Okay? And over time. And the first one is progressive overload. You have to do some work, get a response, repair from that response, adapt to it, and then increase that signal just a little bit more, either through adding more weight, adding more reps at the same weight, or let's say you're doing body weight work and you're just doing, body weight squats. You did 20 last time. You need to do at least 21 this next time in order to elicit a similar response and get stronger. Okay, so we have to continually push ourselves within safe parameters, within reason, over time. Okay, and then eventually you'll get to the place on any particular exercise where the fatigue is too high and you can't push it anymore. So you need to switch the exercise to something else that works the muscles similarly, but the pattern is slightly different. Okay, and that's when we start alternating exercises. So you could go from using the dumbbell lunge for your quads and glutes, and after some weeks or even months for some people, you're no longer able to increase or progressively overload anymore and get a good response. So you may switch to the leg press, which will focus on the glutes and the quads very similarly, okay? But you continue to grow your legs and your glutes and their strength over time. And you do that until you can't progress within reason, and then you move on to something else. You could even go back to the lunges, okay? But we have to understand that progressive overload and making progress is just that. We have to keep moving forward. All right. So hopefully that helps. We'll talk about a few more principles in the next videos to come.